So, John Bird, I'm very delighted to meet Lord Bird, I should say. Delighted to meet you today. I know you're the founder of The Big Issue and have had tremendous success with that worldwide, but I'd like to concentrate actually and talk about the work you're doing now. You're in Parliament, you've been a Lord since I think 2015.
That's right.
So I know you're very interested in poverty and what you can do to help, and indeed what other people in Parliament can do to help. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Well, I volunteered to come into Parliament, so I'm a crossbencher, so you apply. So I haven't been chosen. I haven't done any favours to any political party. So that's the important thing, the difference between me. I would not have been able to do that and hold my conscience.
Yeah.
Because I've always kept to a kind of non-party political stance. So I came in, and I came in for one thing alone, and that was to, as I said to the BBC, I pulled out an imaginary flick knife and I went, I come into Parliament to slit the throat of poverty. Anyway, very fanciful.
How's that going?
It's hard work.
Yeah.
The reason it's hard work because most government departments are doing their bit here and their bit there, and at the same time as 50% of the money that the NHS spends is spent on trying to keep the poorest among us as healthy as possible, who all suffer from food poverty.
Yeah.
So you've got all these really big issues, and you've got 40% of government expenditure spent on poverty, but it's not to get rid of poverty or to prevent it. It's really to maintain people in poverty.
So at the Payment Choice Alliance, we believe that cash has an essential role in helping to solve poverty. Around the world now, aid organisations who used to give people blankets, bottles of water and so on, are now giving them cash because they're empowering those people to help themselves. Do you think cash has an important role in helping to solve the poverty problems of the world?
Cash is important, and cash is certainly very, very important if you're giving money to people who are in desperate need, who can then, face up to that desperate need and then be able to move on. So it is a question of a hand up, not a hand out.
Yeah.
So if you're using the cash correctly, then it's brilliant. I believe that one of the problems that we have now, and we have it in the Big Issue, is there's a lot of people who would like to pay cash, but they don't have it. So we've given them these card readers, but overall we still try and encourage people to give cash, because that's what most people in need. They need cash because they don't have the bank accounts and they don't have the means.
Sure.
Some of them, we give these card readers, as I said, but they still have to have a bank account.
Sure. Well, when I talk to street buskers or indeed Big Issue salespeople, vendors, they always tell me that cash is still a big part of their takings. Yeah.
It's probably about 70%.
Right.
Still, Big Issue vendors, and of course we then have to kind of process it. So we work with people like the post office and process it, who absolutely need cash. So we still are in a world where more and more cash is needed, even though the banks would tell us that it's less and less. And I believe that cash is still king, whether we like it or not.
Well, big retailers in this country actually say, firstly, cash is hugely important to them, but they also have been telling the government recently, you can't do away with cash because cash is the most cost-effective way we have of accepting payment. So, the picture painted by the banks is, cash is expensive, we can't afford cash any longer. But the banks, aren't they just being greedy in arguing that? They don't want to give the people what they need or businesses what they need to keep going.
Well, they're always trying to reduce costs, aren't they? And they're trying to push up their returns, their profits. So it makes sense to them to actually charge you a bit for the transaction, and also at the same time charge the person at the other end.
Yeah.
So you've got a kind of win-win scenario. I do believe that your campaign to make companies take cash, and you were talking about how you'd walked up the road and you saw a sign in Costa saying
Caffè Nero.
Cafe Nero, sorry, forgive me, Costa.
Costa, you are still accepting cash, well done.
Yeah, so that very idea is really not very good for social justice issues, and that's why I'm interested in your campaign.
That's great. So do you believe that the UK should ever be a cashless society?
I don't believe we should be cashless. I also don't believe that we should not still use technology. Let's use a mixture of both. But don't close down one part simply at the expense of the other part.
Absolutely. We didn't give up bicycles when we had cars. We still have bicycles.
We still have bicycles, yeah.
John, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.